Hello YouTube, it's DTS Show, Pokemon Multiplayer, part 50. We're halfway to 100. In the last part, YouTube, we had technical difficulties because we didn't set up the laptop properly, and we talked about Adam's YouTube channel. In this part, we hope to be more topical and,
a little bit more professional, shall we?
Yes, professional. We need to, go find some professional points. Adam, how many, random battles do we have to kill to get some professional points, you know? It's, what's the, conversion of experience points into professional points these days?
Why never Satan's left nutsack? Are you asking me?
This grass YouTube is probably one of the most common places you can find Dittos. Even though they're a rare Pokemon, this is one of the best places to find them, so here's a good place to look if you want one.
Well, we managed to find a Pikachu on the first try, so hey, it's, like I say, it's random.
Right, YouTube, we have a topic for this part.
Here we go.
The topic is for and against motion control. Now, if you like, you can post a comment and you can sort of give your own opinion on motion controls.
Just bear in mind your comment will look very lonely in the comment box.
But if we do get a good number of comments, we will discuss them in a later video once we read them.
We always read comments, mainly because we only get like about one every 17,000 parts.
And that is not an invitation for you to spam the comment button and put like one letter in every comment box.
Feel free to give us something to talk about.
First, I would like a comment that's got a sentence and makes sense. And is topical. And not just your videos suck, because that's constructive criticism is better than normal criticism. Anyway, on to the topic.
I'll work that one out later.
Basically, I'm going to be acting as the guy who likes motion controls. Adam is going to be acting as the guy who thinks motion controls should die, and it's going to be like the Cubone thing where we had like a debate, but not as exciting, not as Pokemon related.
The only difference is that the Cubone debate was spontaneous. This one's planned. In that I came round today, he said we're going to debate motion controls, and I just thought, yeah, okay, fair enough. Went along with it. Mainly because I'm too born idle to argue.
We have to argue now because we're doing a debate. You have to argue.
Okay, fair enough. I can argue if you so wish.
But don't argue over the top. You know, don't start shouting. Anyway,
I don't shout.
My views on motion controls. Well, personally, what has motion control improved in my experience? Well, I think
motion controls improve something.
This
should be good. Go on.
This is my opinion. I think motion controls have definitely improved aiming, because when you're playing a game like Resident Evil 4, if you're shooting a handgun, and if you're trying to snipe with a handgun, it's much easier to aim a cursor than it is to aim a little red line. So I think motion controls have improved aiming.
Not that we haven't had, light guns before this.
No, but if you go down to the arcade,
yeah,
a light gun, it shoots out an infrared laser, hits the screen and makes the game work, obviously. We know this. But when you're playing a light gun in the arcade, no curse comes on the screen. You can't actually see them.
And how many cursors appear in real life?
Good point. Well, yeah, that's what you have sights for.
Yeah, I think you'll find most arcade rail shooters have sights on them.
Well, some ones I played don't. I mean, House Dead 3, you have a shotgun that has no sight.
You don't need a sight with a shotgun. You point it vaguely in the direction of something you want dead. Pull the trigger, and it tends to die.
The handgun from House Dead 1. I've seen several handguns in real life with sight, and this one doesn't even have one.
What is your definition of sight? If you're
have
thinking about a sort of telescope thing that sits on the top of the barrel.
One, telescope. Two, that little nook thing. That's what I would call the borderline of what I would call a sight. But what I call a sight is the telescope thing, yeah. Right.
I'd just like to point out you do not get... That telescope-style sight is for long distance shooting, which you don't really do. You can't really shoot long distance with a handgun. They're too inaccurate. That's why they have rifles with extended barrels to add a bit more accuracy.
Well,
typical sight for a handgun is a little notch just above the handle, and you line that up with a sort of knobbly bit at the end of the barrel. Line those two up with the thing you want to shoot at, pull the trigger, and 9 times out of 10, if your aim's pretty good, you'll hit your target.
Yeah, well, a little known fact here, YouTube, about my way I've experienced life. I can use binoculars perfectly fine, but when it comes to using something like a telescope, my eyes just don't work. I can't look down a sight and see far into the distance without using a pair of binoculars. So if I ever go in the army or go on some sort of mission, I will need to duct tape a pair of binoculars to my gun so I can do sights.
That's one of the reasons why he's not a professional sniper.
Yeah.
There's a concept of closing one eye and only using the other eye.
I tried that, believe you me, I tried.
Yeah, so you can't really use single scope sights with
can't.
2 eyes.
I tried them because my eyes and everything, but my eyes just don't focus on single scopage.
Fair enough. You got. Not everyone can use scopes.
But yeah, I think.
Personally, I have to say I've never fired a rifle, or I don't think I've ever actually used a telescope. Now I think about it.
Makes me try and learn a new move. Poison gas. Poison gas is not a bad move. It instantly poisons any Pokemon you use it on. It's like poison powder. I will not be learning this because I have all the moves I want for now. So, abandon.
So go on.
So getting back to what I was saying, I think motion control has improved
Rail shooting.
Has improved aiming because, one, the game gives you a cursor so you can point at anything and you can potentially snipe with a handgun like I did in Resident Evil 4 if you see my LP. So that's the first thing I think motion control has improved. Now as far as now, let's take Legend of Zelda, for example, where you're slicing things up with your sword or your Wii remote here. It does work to a certain extent, but depending on which Zelda game you play, it's either better or worse. In Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, since the Wii remote was only at basically half sensor power, you could literally get through the game just by waggling your Wii remote around. Just to make yourself... You could do the elaborate sword slash like you wanted to, yes, and pretend you were Link, obviously. But you could literally just do that. To,
That's it. Do the hand motions off camera, yeah.
You could literally just do that.
He is still off camera.
Well, you could literally just wave the Wii remote around in any gesture you decided. And
you just got a vague image of your hand shaking in the corner of the screen there.
You could literally wave your hand around in pretty much any motion you desired, and it would work. Apart from when you were using like a thrust, which you had to shove the remote forward, and it would work. So, but let's say you're playing a game like Skyward Sword. Yes, it's not released yet, we know, but in Skyward Sword, Nintendo has promised for a more accurate and more realistic sword play experience.
I just like to point out that's exactly what they said when they released the Wii in the first place.
When they released the Wii in the first place,
they advertised that you could just swing the sword and Link would copy your movements and shit.
They sort of
overhyped the shit out of it.
Yeah, they sort of overhyped it a little bit. In Skyward Sword, because you got the Wii Motion Plus, it's almost one-to-one synchronizing with your movements.
Yeah, it only took 3 years for the thing to start doing what it was supposed to do in the first place.
Yeah, well, the Xbox took 3 years to work, so it sort of balances it out.
Actually, no, the Xbox never actually worked, they just remade it. Seriously, they just built another one.
I know.
And just called it Elite and stuck it in a black case.
Yeah.
It's like saying, a new Xbox, the less shit version.
So, yeah. Slicing people in Zelda, it works, but if you can pretend that you're waving a sword around properly, but if you wave a sword around like an idiot, it'll work too. So it's a nice idea that you feel like you're playing with a sword, but it's not really an improvement. My argument's falling apart here.
Yes, it is. At the seams, may I point out.
Now...
Yes, we can see the stuffing from here. It is falling out in streams, my friend.
Okay, next argument. Now, when it comes to drawing on the Wii, like, let's say you're playing a game like...
He's just been playing Okami.
Let's say you're playing a game like Drawn to Life or possibly Okami. Now, Drawn to Life...
Was that on the Wii? Was Drawn to Life on the Wii?
Well, people who've seen my Drawn to Life Next Chapter review will know about this. Drawn to Life Next Chapter was made by the same people who made the what's the game series called?
Drawn to Life.
It was made by Fifth Cell, and they also made Scribble Notes. That's it, Scribble Notes.
You mean that game where you just literally...
You type in a word...
Type out whatever the hell you want and...
Yeah, it can solve a puzzle for you.
Like Cthulhu.
Yeah. And, basically, the DS version of Drawn to Life Next Chapter is a masterpiece. They made it.
Just the concept of a kid's game where you can summon the Lovecraftian nightmare.
Well, the Drawn to Life for the DS, both of them are fantastic, apart from the SpongeBob one, which I've never played. But it might be good.
You're out of my depth there.
It might be good if you like SpongeBob. Anyway, what the game designers did for the Wii one, they gave the game design idea to a different company, and basically the Wii version fell apart faster than the Leaning Tower of Pisa when it just get kicked over by someone with a giant shoe.
And why did they fall apart?
Because the game designers didn't know what they were doing, and it had several glitches which made you had to delete your own save files to get your drawings to work properly. You know, the game, when you drew certain things, when you drew pictures, there was a glitch that could happen at any time, and it would make your drawings not function properly and not work with the game's mechanics.
Can I just point out, you're supposed to be arguing for motion control. Pretty much everything you've said just I don't know, shat on it.
I'm getting to that. Now, as for drawing with the Wii Remote, in Okami it works well once you practice a bit and learn how it works. You adjust to its crap factor.
Now that's how he's using the word crap factor for something he's trying to promote.
I like Okami. And I'm not saying the game's crap, it's one of those games that takes time to adjust so that you know how to do it properly so the game will recognise it.
Yeah, that's not really a problem with motion control. That's just a problem with image recognition in games anyway.
Yeah.
That goes all the way back to when you could get one of those little handheld things, write on the screen with a stylus. It would recognise your own handwriting, you know, just like a fucking pen and paper does.
But when you draw with a pencil, your fingers are touching the nail, but you can draw perfectly. When you draw with a Wii, where it's like holding the pencil right at the back, it's
making it difficult, confusing.
It's more difficult
and hard to. So at what point is this argument for motion controlling? You've just said that it's useless.
Once you practice a bit, you can sort of learn how to draw at the back of a pencil. On the
other hand, you can always stick a controller in there and it'll work straight away.
Well, I've never actually played the PS2 version of Okami, but drawing that analog stick has never been my favourite thing either.
I said it was.
You know, when I'm on the computer drawing Microsoft Paint with a mouse, that's hard as well.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they invented the that sort of tablet with the pencil. You know, a pencil and paper will do just as fine. Seriously, if you want to draw something on a computer, draw it and use a scanner.
Adam, eyes the camera 1 minute. So, personally, I like motion control, but...
Even though he's just stripped it apart?
I like motion control, but it, sometimes you have to play the game for a very long time in order to learn how the game wants you to do the motions. And then we'll go on to your part in the next video. But,
so you're playing with the game wants you to play?
Yes.
This is going to be easier than I thought.
But as far as aiming a gun is concerned, it helps. By God, it helps. When I played Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, I couldn't beat professional mode, but on the Wii I can. Anyway, YouTube, we're out of time, so next part.
This is going to be way easier than I thought.